Welcome to the Main Stage Cast, a podcast about all things competitive Call of Duty, hosted by me, Nate Burleson, alongside Alex Friel. Alex, how was your day going, man? I mean, we had a long weekend. Kamala Harris told us to enjoy the long weekend, right? So we had a long weekend, but how's your day going? How's your week going? Your June.
Hey, you know what? I had work yesterday. It was a shorter shift. I'm working at Firehouse. So I was just making some sandwiches, and last night I was watching the Lakers. That didn't go too well. Mm-mm. And today, what happened today? A guy came to fix the ceiling in our garage. Put drywall and stuff on, and I walked my dogs. It was nice out. I saw this neighborhood kid, right?
Yeah.
This dude Danny. I hadn't seen him since before the pandemic, right? Last time I seen this kid, he's my height, right? I walk up to him. I gotta look up at him now. He's really 6'4". I was like, what the hell happened?
Gotta get him on the. You gotta get him on the.
Bro, I'm like, Danny, you're so tall now. Keep in mind, this guy's 4 years younger than us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I did get pretty tall. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, bro, your voice is deep now. I don't even know. Hey,
you gotta get that man on the RB basketball team, bro.
Bro,
they gotta go win.
Goes to RB, actually. He might go to a private school or some shit.
Lions Township, something like that.
I think he plays baseball. No, I think he goes to a private school.
Gotcha. All right, we're playing baseball regardless.
Fuck LT, fuck Lions Township.
Hey, I don't even know. I don't even like LT, and I never even had any real interaction with them. So you must really not like them. But we can talk about suburban high schools, or we can talk about the CDL. Because we had a lot of matches last weekend. I'd say we just hop right into it. Go match by match. Thursday, we had Atlanta Faze 3-1 Paris. Paris took a map, which was pretty good by them, but that's not going to get you any CDL points. So.
Hey, and you know what's funny to me? You know the map they took? Standoff search. I love that the one map they took, and it's funny because they look decent in the first hard point. Even though they still look pretty bad, but it's right. I mean, they looked better against Faze than another team did, which is really weird. But hard point was close. But this standoff search, man, it's a fluke map. I don't care.
Yeah,
man, I mean, he almost joined the agency. If he died another time, he would have joined the agency.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's it's a new map, so I think it was easy for Paris to be able to take it off them. Because it's give Faze time to get better at it.
Yeah, I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have won Moscow search, or I don't think they would have won Raid search. So,
I mean, if it was any other map that Faze had actually played in the match before, I think it just would have been a 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, Faze are playing so well right now. They just got to keep their game going. So, I mean, it's gonna be good for them to get these 3-1s, these 3-0s, and not really get pushed by other teams. Because they got beat by LAG a few weeks ago in a regular match.
Everybody's freaking out. They're falling off.
They're falling off, but then they go and they won the Stage 3 major, and they won the Stage 1 major, and they nearly won the Stage 2 major. So, I mean, we're going back to land with Stage 4, so I mean, I bet they're just focused on getting that number 1 seed, and then they're saying, anything can happen at the land, so they just want to get that number 1 seed, be in the best position. Faze is playing well, though, but we can talk about the biggest upset of the weekend was Florida versus Toronto. Was this some home series or was this some pre-home series magic from Florida this past weekend? Are they getting ready to show us something?
You know what? The timing kind of lines up the same when they started frying last year. When they started picking up some chips. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Florida's about to hit their stride. With Havoc back on the squad and didn't they make it? Did Slacks play at all last stage or I don't remember, but you know what, they're probably better practice now, and I think a good thing to take away from this series is how well Florida played, with Awakening not even particularly having the best series or numbers from them. You know what I'm saying? It was really good to see Havoc kind of do a lot more on the map and see Neptune do a lot more. They showed we're not just gonna get carried by a big wake. We're just gonna play our game and we'll be chilling.
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole point, is that, if Awakening is expected to carry this team, they're not going to win championships. They're not going to place top 3. You can't expect a player to carry a team and win championships. That's never happened in COD. For one player to be the guy who just head and shoulders carries a team to a championship, not in the CDL, not in, the CWL, not in this, more recent era of COD. I don't know, not even Simp could do it. Simp needs a Beezy. He needs his duo. A Beezy needs Simp. Yeah. It's just how that works. But,
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean,
Varsities.
exactly. Like they got four amazing players on that team. That's why Faze has been so scary all year. But Florida, like they've always just kind of had, they had Awakening and then Skies when he was playing really well, and then Neptune. Neptune's been the big one. He's kind of came into his own. He's not making the same kind of boneheaded plays that he was making before, and they end up taking the first hard point, the second search, and then they got beat. Like it was about to beat. They got to game 5. They got pushed to game 5 after being up 2-0, and then they had the mental resolve to win that, which is absolutely huge. I feel like a lot of the times, I don't have a stat on it, so I'm just speaking off big experience, but when a team gets pushed on a reverse sweep like that to game 5, they usually lose it, get reverse swept. But Florida didn't do that. They stood up and they won the Miami S&D pretty well, 6-3. That's a pretty good win.
Yeah, you got to be happy if you're Florida. The Ultra, probably the third best team, I think we can safely say. Who knows now? Because that was a very, and it's, I don't want to be like, oh, Toronto lost. Like, Florida, they played good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, like, Toronto, definitely, we did not see the same Toronto that we've seen prior. Like, Vance wasn't really frying or anything, and I feel like that paves the way for them to be able to do what they do. But, like, I don't know. It was a little bit slower game than them. Not really what you to see, but good match nonetheless.
Yeah, and Toronto came up pretty well at towards the end of the weekend, which we'll get to that soon. But another team, they beat Dallas on that Sunday, but Dallas did end up taking a win this weekend before they got beat by Toronto. They beat the London Royal Ravens 3-2. Was that very convincing for you? Did you feel good about that going into Sunday?
So,
what did you take away from that?
Let me tell you the story about my experience with this match, right? So the CDL. Nathan, we're Central Time. What time does it start, right?
2 p.m.
What time does the broadcast start? 2 p.m. Match probably starts about 2:15, 2:20, whatever. So I get out of work at 4, right? I'm in the car for 10 minutes, and I'm with Kippa, and I'm like, yo, Kip, you gotta turn on the CDL match. I gotta see who's winning. Or we look it up, and at 4 o'clock, London was up 1-0.
You texted me.
I was London up 1-0, it's been 2 hours. So I was at work during most of that, and then I was driving home, and then I was showering and eating dinner, so I didn't catch the full match. But I literally caught the game 5 because I had London 3-0. I actually didn't have any faith in Dallas, and I was like, shit, there's delays. Maybe London took the first match. Maybe they'll just keep going. But it ended up going to game 5 somehow, and for Empire just to win. And honestly, it was just a weird series. Honestly, really weird, kind of close. But this kinds of series, you're never gonna play a series that's super delayed like this all the time. It almost feels like not gonna credit Dallas or anything, but it was a very weird.
It wasn't under normal circumstances.
And it was their first series with Vivin, and he had a .67 match KD, minus 30. He did lower in damage than everybody else. I didn't think anyone would really do worse than Illy, but I guess shit, I'm proven wrong once again. But
Vivin needs time.
I felt good. I felt like London was gonna play good going into the week, but after a match like that, it's I didn't really have any idea of how either Dallas or London would play in the next match, because that was just the weirdest shit of all time.
Right. Yeah. No. It's a weird game, and when you get to that point where the match was delayed for an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. I remember I turned the stream on at 2:30. I was like, okay, I'm trying to get ready to watch this match, and they were showing a major match from the Stage 3 major. Or it might have been the Stage 2 major, I can't remember, but they were showing a major match. I was like, what the? I was just like, what the hell? Confused me. But London took the first hard point. They're looking better on that. Dallas took a tight S&D, but there was that 250 to 244 hard point on Garrison. it was a close series, and it was pretty interesting. But hey, you get Crimsix on standoff on that game 5. I'm sorry, that's the OG. He's not losing on that standoff S&D when all these guys are wet behind the ears playing that game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was good for Dallas to kind of get that win, but we got to make sure their confidence just isn't crushed, because they did end up getting 3-0'd on Sunday. But before we get into that, we got another 3-0, Optic 3-0'd Rocker, which is huge. That's really big for Optic.
What? No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually got to catch this, which was nice because of the delays. So that actually worked out well for me.
Yeah, you were probably nervous you weren't going to be able to watch your team.
Yeah, I was nervous, but thank God for the delays. I missed apparently an hour and a half of broadcast. Yeah. Hey, but Optic 3-0, hey, we'll take it, man. I mean, the hard point was super close. And it was funny because Optic started by, like, leading that, and, like, Envoy had streaks off the rip, like, Formal had streaks off the rip, like, they were killing it. And then all of a sudden, like, Minnesota is somehow, like, scoring points, It's like no one could get any points on P4. It was like, It started becoming, like, back and forth, like, really just, like, oh, shit, like, could we lose? And then we won. And then, you go to standoff S&D. Come on, bro. No one at Minnesota even played in Black Ops 2.
Yeah, not at the top pro level.
Hey, Scump was frying on that map, man. Come on, Scump had to do it to him.
Yep, and then and then you got the 3-0
on raid. Once again, Scump played on raid. So Ashy, the Envoy, and they were frying a little bit. Envoy putting in that damage on that map 3. Leading the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just did not look good in the second or third map, and it kind of was like reminiscent on the team we saw earlier in the season. Like, honestly, that's kind of what I felt like watching again.
Yeah,
like a team like just didn't know how to play the game, weirdly.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, they did end up playing the next day, and they 3-1 Paris. So I mean, like, it's not. Does that say more about Paris though? About the state of Paris? Because Paris is kind of messy right now.
I mean,
like, the wheels are falling off.
I mean, yeah, that I didn't even. I had to watch like the replays of that, and Paris, bro. I don't watch any fucking Paris matches. This team's dog
Paris
shit.
Paris is so hard to watch sometimes. Like, there's no excitement going into a Paris match, man. Like, what?
Yeah, and I'm sure. Like, funny because looking at the score, like, this literally could have gone to Game 5 because Minnesota only won map 4 by 3 points. So, like, literally, we could be sitting here like Paris won, but like, I don't know. I think for both of these teams, I think what's more telling about this series is that, like, when you play like a upper echelon team like a Optic, like, it's a completely different series from when you play like Paris.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if Minnesota were to play Optic, Ultra, like Subliners, Faze, like, that is such a different series you're going into than if you're playing like an LAG or Paris. Like,
right.
Like, I don't know. It's like you're watching two different games. It almost feels like you're watching top AMs at this point, dude. Like, Temp, like, come on, man.
Temp is not like CDL level at this game. He's not. Like,
not
definitely not as a sub. Definitely not as a sub. Maybe as in like a second AR, but definitely not as a sub. Like, Paris is just in such a mess right now. I don't know why they picked up Temp and why they were so like quick to pick him up when they could have gotten a better sub player. Like, I feel like they could have gotten like a better sub player, something like that. Like, I don't know. Paris is like, at this point they've kind of, what can they do? They kind of have to chalk the year. Like, they can do the best they can, but they need a miracle. They need a miracle if they want to make champs. Yeah. They like, their seasons could be over in like a month and a half. Like, they need a miracle if they want to win champs. They need to start winning now. Like, I just don't know if I see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, well, Paris, they lost a player over after this past stage, and that was Classic, who went over to Seattle, which in the next match, it was LA Thieves versus Seattle, which I honestly thought, I was like, holy shit, like, could Seattle win?
They pushed them. They were pushing them.
Into that Game 5, and then it was like, no, I guess they just cannot.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, like, this Classic with the breadstick in Game 5, like... Yeah, wait, hold on, Did we even mention... Okay, wait. Before we move on to this one, I had to bring up... Minnesota tweeted and was like, Major Maniac is back, like, after they, like, 3-1 to Paris, and his S&D KD was .14, and I'm thinking, bro, like, you really about to tweet, like...
They should never...
Score his KDs and just put 1.14, like, bro, that's embarrassing.
No,
like, I would tell the org, take that shit down, and just tweet a picture of me.
No. They should never use single game stats for S&D when it comes to KD. Because then it's like, look at this guy with the 3.45 KD.
exactly. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, when Insight had his debut game and he had like 19 kills, they're like, he has the KD record for S&D. I'm like, after one match,
kills, S&D rounds, like, yeah. But
like,
so Classic on the Surge, didn't really seem like he made much of a difference, but like Octane seemed like he wanted to win. So that was kind of nice to see after we talked about last time how it didn't really seem like he was playing like he wanted to win anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like,
honestly, it's so tough to watch because I want to cheer for the Surge. Like, I love Pristini and, Sam Octane, I loved him as an AR, and over the years, my opinions and thoughts have changed. But, like, it just sucks that Classic, like, played worse than Looney.
Yeah, I mean, we got to give him more series, but, like, they fried on the hard points, and then the S&Ds were horrible, and then the control... Yeah. I mean, it's a new team, so you can't really... you got a new player in there. Maybe Looney had, like, a big role in calling an S&D, and they're trying to figure something out. But, like, you get 3-6, 1-6, like, it's just not... You're not going to win series. Like, your problems aren't going to be fixed, Like, regardless, even if you look better, your problems aren't going to be fixed unless you win games, so...
Yeah, and if you look at, like, the hard points, like, it really looks like they only won because it's, like, the first time this year, like... Octane actually, like, slayed enough to the point where, like, it looks like you can kind of see that, like, slaying really made a difference in those hard points, Like, Pristini even slayed out in those hard points. Like, honestly, Gunless playing pretty good, too. Like, I mean, Classic was the only one that just didn't be good, honestly. It was so tough, man. But, hey, I mean, if you're Surge, it's like, I guess you got, you went to another Game 5. I mean, you take... I don't know how to feel if you're Surge, honestly.
Yeah.
Just pray for them, I guess. But if I'm the LA Thieves, like, I'm like, we should be better. Like, if you're the LA Thieves, like, 3-2 control, like, which Seattle could have won that round 5.
Yeah.
They barely, it felt like they were, like, barely winning these, except for those S&Ds, which they just smoked them.
Right.
Like, the hard points, like, those were rough. Like, I don't know really what was going on with Venom in this series, but
getting had bad.
But I think TJ and Searchman, he's so good, man. I think they miss him a little bit.
I think they do. I feel like
it's saying that Hook's on the bench, but
yeah, I mean, do they call Hook now? When's the time for Hook?
No clue.
When's the time for Hook? I mean, they play Paris and they play Faze this weekend. If they lose to Paris, you call Hook immediately. He has to start on Sunday, in my opinion. But if you 3-0 Paris, you just gotta cruise. You cruise into Sunday and see how you do against Faze. Because they got a tough schedule. Like, going forward, like, they gotta play some tough teams. But like Seattle this weekend, Seattle this weekend, they gotta play Faze and then they gotta play Minnesota. So it's like, how what can they show us? They're gonna have to beat Faze in Minnesota if they want to make it to the champs. They're gonna have to win both of these matches. So it's such an interesting time in the CDL right now, but it's also such a tough time because we are gonna get matches soon that literally don't matter. You know what I mean? We're gonna get matches between the bottom 4 teams that just literally don't matter.
After stage 4, like, nothing Paris plays will matter.
No.
And that's just the truth.
Honestly, Faze's matches barely matter at this point because they already... I guess they didn't clinch the first seed overall, but
they're so far ahead, though, but they're 130 points ahead of New York.
Unless they're playing a top 3 team, Faze's matches are kind of just they just gotta keep the ball moving, keep the ball rolling.
Placement in the majors is huge, right? Like, that first and second in the major gets you so many freaking points. Like,
gets you so much
10
money.
Points, dude, these 10 points, these don't mean shit at this point.
10 points isn't gonna win anything. You gotta teams gotta.
If you're Faze, bro, if you're Faze, you lose a freaking group match. Bro, you don't give a shit. You're still the best team going to the major, so.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to set themselves up right. They just have to make sure everything's good in their camp, everything's good in their mindset, and they're gonna win games because that's the only thing that's gonna hold them back. They have all the talent in the world to win the CDL. They have all the talent in the world to win champs. That's not a problem. It's all about just coming together. So, I mean, that 3-0 over Optic was huge for them. But let's see. What's our next match? New York, the only match they played this weekend against LAG. 3-1. pretty routine out of the boys. I mean, Clayster's been playing
well. You already know that I didn't even watch that shit because fuck LAG, bro. And you know they were not about to get monkeyed by the LA Gorillas, so.
No, they were not going to get monkeyed by the LA Gorillas. Hey, LA took the S&D. Big for them, but they got Shrek'd on the heart. They got Shrek'd on the third map and the fourth map. 250, 169, 3-0.
They got horked on, dude. This dude Apathy did like no damage in that third map. He did 1800, went 7 and 17, dude.
Shooting peas, man. That game was over before it even started. Like,
dude, yeah, dude. It's just so tough because I'm starting to feel like the same way about LAG as I do Paris, man. Like.
They're rough, man. But the thing about LAG is that they believe they're doing the right thing. Like deep in their psyche, they believe they're doing the right thing.
I think the competitive integrity is really there with a team like LAG. Where like when Seattle made the video, they're like, "This is our last roster change until after COD champs." Like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like y'all are just fucking throwing the whole fucking season away now. Yeah. Like,
you saying okay? You're gonna take Classic and then say, "All right, we're good." Like,
yeah.
No offense to Classic, if he plays bad, man, like he's still gotta go. Like no matter who you are, I feel like if you're playing bad over like a consistent amount of matches, you don't deserve a long leash. You know what I mean? You don't deserve all the freedom and to like roam around and get better because at this level in the CDL, like there's no like tomorrow is so important. You know that like at the same time, you can't focus on. Do you know what I mean? You can't focus on like keeping a player and hoping it works out when week by week goes by and you lose match after match after match. At some point, you have to hope that you strike gold. You know, you have to hope that you get lucky with a player. Yeah. You have to hope you get like an awakening situation from last year or a max situation from last year. Mm-hmm. Like
where you pick up a guy and he is a game changer, like an actual game changer. Because like as good as Money Team has been, like. LAG, they don't have a game changer. Like Seattle with Classic, that's not a game changer. Like Paris and Zap, that's not a game changer.
What's it say about the state of your league and like the state of the teams at the bottom when the top amateur players would rather stay in the amateur level than go into the pro level and play for those teams because of how bad they are and how bad it looks to be on that roster?
Well, I think it's funny because at the beginning of the year, like the top AMs may have felt completely different when they were playing 2Ks instead of 40K opens. Like there was no money in challengers. They were like, "Fuck!" Like I want to be in the league. And then now all of a sudden, you know, they talk to players and they hear from these guys who are on good orgs, and then hear from guys who are on shit orgs, and are like I'm sure Sib probably talked to Zuma and heard about how wonderful New York is, the Zuma and the Clay and all these guys, and you know Sib's Faze sub, so like he knows ATL Faze like. That guy's never going to an LAG, Paris, London. Like, he's not going to those orgs, ever. Because he knows what a good org is, and I think at this point now, it's kind of telling when, like, Saints didn't want to go to Seattle, John didn't want to go to Seattle, like, no one wants to go to these teams. It's, like, it's just poor culture.
I wonder what has to do with, like, John and, like, maybe, like, because he was on Luminosity, like, in his career, and it's the same kind of parent company. Is there any problem there? Like, is there like some kind of rift between him and Luminosity in any way? Or?
It's weird because John's like friends with like everyone in the league too. I feel like
right, yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's like I think John just wants to wait for the right opportunity, and that just has not come yet.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. Like I think if you're like Saints, it's like the same. You want to do the same thing. Like you know you're talented and you deserve like a good spot. Like you don't deserve a spot on a team that's not making it to champs if you're Saints. Exactly. If you're Saints, you're actually going to make more money winning 40K opens and getting the second place at 40K opens than you would losing league matches. So
and like probably the same amount of exposure. You know, like probably the same amount of exposure within the scene unless you join like LAG and go play for 19K viewers. Like it's all the same 19K viewers who watch every match, you know, like there's always going to be those like 20K people who are watching a match. Constant
people who are just watching it for everything, and then when it's like a big team, you'll actually get like the fans of that team watching. Right. Like when it's an Optic, bro, you see the increase, and it's like Optic fans. Like
it's been like that. I mean, it's always been like that. Like even in the open events, it would be, you know, like Optic would come on in the winners round, like it'd be like winners round 4, and there'd be like 30K viewers. Then it'd be winners round 5 where Optic is, and then it's at 60K, 70K. Like it's It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be like that.
Yeah.
The juice comes from the most popular teams. It's the reason why the Dallas Cowboys, even when they're shitty, they play on Sunday Night Football. Because the most eyeballs are on it. The most people are watching it. The most money's made. But you can't really do that with the CDL. You can't game the schedule in that way. They already do. They already make Optic play at the night game every time they play. They always play the last game. They never play in the middle. Unless it's some featured match that they want to do for like a home series or something like that. But like Optic's the draw, you know. I mean, it's so hard like with some of these CDL matches and some of the teams because there's nothing that sparks any interest in it. Like there's nothing that sparks any interest for seeding. Yeah. Like there's nothing that sparks any interest for like storylines because like the players don't. You know, like the league doesn't really build up the storylines between teams either.
I mean, they don't even promote drama or like anyone actually like interacting with each other. They really don't care.
Yeah,
you
mean to tell me there's no beef?
The league. No, there is, but they just don't want to promote that because people confuse like. I think the problem is like cyberbullying, right? Like people are gonna confuse like people beefing on Twitter with cyberbullying, and they don't want like the league to promote that. But it's like, like, dude, come on, like there's no reason to watch besides the team you want to win. You know what I'm saying? Like at least like with the NBA playoffs, there's storylines I want to see. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm excited to see the Knicks in the playoffs play the Young Hawks, and it's like like this first match on Sunday, Florida versus London, like 3-0. I didn't fucking watch that.
Sunday was quick. Like, Sunday's matches were done by like 5:30. Yeah. It was like 3.5 hours.
It was good. 3-0.
Yeah, so Florida 3-0's to London. Not much to say about it really. London just didn't come out, and Florida played well. Toronto 3-0's Dallas. Dallas, they're struggling, man. Like I don't know, like you can't expect them to be great off the rip. So we'll have to see what they do this weekend, but. It's tough. I mean, they only play They play LAG in the New York this weekend, so like they got to bounce back. They got a 3-0, 3-1 LAG to reinstate my confidence in them. I don't know about you. Like, I feel like I have no confidence in Dallas. They're just another team now. I don't even think about them as the defending champs anymore because they're not that roster anymore. You know, it's completely different. Like, I don't find much in Dallas right now. They need to step up and they need to start playing well before LAN.
Yeah, I think it's like that's a team that like could do good on LAN, but just like if Illy's not good on LAN, I don't know why I think he would be good on LAN because even if you look at like last year, like Dallas when it went from you can literally see like when they first announced it, there's literally a video from one of the Optic videos where Scump's like we're literally gonna lose to Dallas now, like they have our number because it's online, you know. Like,
I mean, that's also a mindset that you shouldn't have at the same time.
After, literally, they were, like, smoking Dallas. Like, it would go to, like, Game 4, you know?
Right.
Like, they'd already won, like, a trophy over them in London or whatever. It's like, but they knew, and then Illy and Shotzi were, like, way better statistically online than on LAN. So I don't know why, like, I would even think that team would be good on LAN, but a team that I do think will be good on LAN is Optic Gaming, who got 3-0 by the 4-hole ATL Faze.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor performance by Formo here, honestly.
And Scump, too, right?
Yeah, Scump on the Moscow is like, you know, it's tough. Like, Envoy and Dashi tried getting kills, but, like, dude, Faze is just literally built so different. It's, like, insane. Like, none of them went negative, like, at all.
They bring like so much firepower into every game that like it's so consistent. Ridiculous. Like the range that they bring is insane. Like even on their worst days, like they look better than half the league. You can't say that for most teams. Yeah. On most teams' worst days, like they look worse than like 10 out of the 12 teams, right? But Faze on like their worst days has never dropped to a level below like top 6, top 8, right? Like they've only ever looked mediocre. They've never looked bad. They've never looked flat out bad. This roster is stacked. I mean, everyone looking into the year, like, knew this roster was stacked. Like, this is one of the most talented rosters ever put together.
Yeah, like, when you saw Arcides was going to play with Abizi, Simp, and Celium, and it's like, Arcides is way better than Priesta or Major Maniac. It was like, how the fuck did that happen, you know? Right. And you know Arcides was going to get to where he wanted to go because he probably told Hex, like, yo, like, can you help me get here? And Hex is like, bro, I got you, and made a call and was like, bro, like, get my mans, you know. Hex was probably taking care of his players. Like, you know,
was he a free agent though? You know,
so, he had Hex make the calls for him to make sure he landed to where he needed to be. You feel me? But I'm sure that's the way it would have gone You know what? You know what's still the weirdest shit is Priest wanting to stick with Major Maniac. That's still. I don't know if that's just because they knew they were both getting dropped from Faze or something.
Probably. They both knew they were gone. They wanted to stick together because they both knew they were gone. I bet they probably told Major Maniac and Priest, though, like, we're gonna bring on, like, Alec. Like, it's dropping a 4v4, like, you both gotta go. It's not one of you both gotta go. That's almost easier, too, than, like, choosing between two players. But at the end of the day, if you got our cities on the line, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You replace like almost every AR in the league with our cities if you can.
Yeah.
Almost every AR.
Besides maybe Krem or Zenny.
Zenny.
Or Lamar.
Maybe Zenny. Yeah, maybe not Zenny, but I mean
Florida home series.
Yeah.
Though.
Let's just dive right into the Florida home series. I got Faze in a 3-0 over Seattle. All right. I got Dallas in a 3-0 over LAG.
Really? I got the 3-1. I got the 3-1.
You got LAG taking a S&D or something?
You know what? I went with so many 3-0s last week. I'm scared this week.
Fair.
I don't want to.
I had a pretty good week last week. I had 24 points. I didn't do too bad.
Damn.
Yeah, the only winner I got wrong was the Toronto Florida match. I guessed every other. Yeah, I got every other winner. I got every winner correct. Other than that, I got every other winner correct. My best week yet. And I just kind of guessed on half of them. But LA Thieves versus Paris.
I gave Paris a map.
I gave Paris a map too. Like, they're good enough to win a map. That's the thing. They're good enough to win a map. They're good enough to win it. They're good enough to take an S&D.
That's good, but can still lose maps.
No, yeah, like they're good enough to win an S&D or control. Like, I mean, I don't see them winning a ton of hard points, but they can win one of these. New York versus Florida. I got New York in a 3-2. I really like the way that Florida was looking, but I do think New York would pull it out in the end. What do you got?
And I got Florida 3-2.
Florida 3-2? I just feel like if it came to that map 5, like New York would find a way to clutch up. Like Clayster would come out with a way to clutch up. Like, I just think they're like a more sound S&D team. That's the main reason. But that series is very, very like intriguing to me. But Saturday, we move on to the Saturday and Sunday matches. Toronto versus London Royal Ravens. I got Toronto on that bounce back, that 3-0. I see you got the same. But let's move into that Optic match. Keep it up, keep them up. Let's go. 3-0 Optic. I got the same thing. They're going to be hungry. Like, you got that Game Fuel match. They're going to make Scump the Game Fuel player.
Bro, they're going to listen to that new Dr. Disrespect Game Fuel song, Game Aerobics or whatever the
Game Aerobics? You
see that on Twitter?
No.
I'll send you this later, but
please do. I gotta see.
Minnesota 3-2. Minnesota 3-2.
I don't have Surge taking 2. I know it's like I don't want Surge taking 2 maps, but like I want them to win. I want Surge to win. Yeah. I want them to get it. But Minnesota 3-1.
I want them to succeed a little. Yeah.
Minnesota 3-1. That's what
I got Florida 3-1. I'm going with Florida going 2-0 at their home series, man. Come on.
Hey, I like that. I got Florida with the 3-0 because I feel like they're gonna be. They get punched in the mouth on Friday. Come out on Sunday, you say, you know what, this is our home series. New York already had theirs. This is our home series. Exactly. I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them 3-0. Then Faze versus LA Thieves. What do you got?
I got 3-2. Faze.
Solid. I got Faze on a 3-1. I almost feel like if we went to a map 5 there, like Thieves would find a way. But I don't think they're gonna get there. I think they lose both hard points, and then I think they lose the control of the other S&D.
Dude, Thieves are just the weirdest team because they're good, but their matches can just. It's like the one team that's like good, but whatever can happen. Right. It's just the weirdest shit. I can't describe it.
Yeah.
And then subliners, come on, man.
You got him with the 3-0? Nah. Krim ain't gonna lose 3-0 to Clay, man. He gonna get a map or 2. I got him with 2 maps. I gotta go into a game 5. They're gonna give the people what they want on that Sunday afternoon. I'm hoping we get that Florida and LAG match stretched out a bit, so I can get off work on Sunday and then catch that New York versus Dallas match in full. If not, I'll have to record it and watch it later. But we gotta do what we do. Not record it, Yeah, I actually found out you can record Twitch streams. Like if you with there's like a Python script you can use, and you just have to type it in. Because I was like, you actually can record Twitch streams like that and save them for later, like a DVR. But I haven't tried it out yet. But I might try that soon in the future. But hey, you want to talk any Warzone? You got any Warzone things on your head?
Hey. You know what? I actually don't right now because there's no really new news for World Series of Warzone yet. Besides, Esports Engine is looking for admins right now.
Yeah, you should
you
do that.
Want to apply to be admin? Dude, I honestly was considering
you should do it. I was about to send it to you and tell you should do it.
Well, I mean, it's like I understand Warzone and esports, and it's like an admin. I'm gonna fucking just all you have to do is read the rules and be like, dumbass, these are the fucking rules. Yeah. So, hey, who knows? But I had a question of the day. Banish one map from competitive COD of all time. What is your choice? What's that one map you just hated to play?
Oh man, I feel like I'm not gonna go from this game because it'd be low hanging fruit, but I will go from Modern Warfare. You gotta get that Piccadilly shit out of here, man. That map is horrible, man. Piccadilly sucks, man. Like that map just was like if you get on that map, I'd just turn the game off. I'd go do something else. I'd go outside. I'd go to the gym. I'd go do something productive because that map is awful. What about you? Which one would you? I'll flip the question of the day.
I was thinking, bro. Low key in Black Ops 3, the map that pissed me off the most, and cause I'm like kind of anti-wall running. Bro, Redwood. Like, I'd hate when motherfuckers would just be running around, like, the trees and shit, and, like, it's like, come on, man, like, what's this, bro? Like, there's, like, dudes, like, they're under the tree, then here, then there, it's like, whatever.
Yeah. Redwood is never my favorite. I would always drop breadsticks on fucking Redwood, man. I never got kills on Redwood. But, I mean, anything else you want to shout out before we end the show? Anyone you got to shout out? Anyone liking your Twitter replies?
Actually, I had a banger tweet the other day. Shout out everyone that read Mit's replies because Aiden Ross had beef or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like said like he was like not a Twitch nerd or whatever. And then a bunch of people responded. My tweet got like 200 likes. I got fucking ratioed by some dude. He got like 530 likes. A bunch of people were replying. Real quick, shout out to Sentinels for not losing a map and representing NA super well in Iceland. We're super proud of them. Congrats, Sentinels. Congrats, the NA East Trio champions from the FNCS and the NA East. Shout out Day, Marrow, and Reverse 2K from Endless. That's all I got to shout out. You got to shout and shout out AMC because that shit went up today for some reason.
We're the AMC. You know, I'm Regal Gang, but I have to shout out AMC if I can.
Come on, never mind. Shout out Regal then. I forgot. I thought you...
All good,
fuck AMC, bro. That's some bullshit. All right,
hey,
that's all I had to say.
If the stock can make you some money, though, go for it, man. All right. We'll catch you guys later.
We're not financial advisors.
enjoy the normal weekend.
Enjoy the normal weekend.
Yep. All right. Catch you later. Peace.
All right.